Hello. So anyway, I went down the street to get something cheapo to eat because I'm on borrowed money, so I have to watch my pennies. And I didn't work today. I was hoping for it for like the whole last week, and they're supposedly making the schedule today. They told me, and uh, uh, I called, and still there's no schedule. So hopefully I'll get a schedule, and hopefully I'll have a lot of hours. But anyway, so um, I go up the street to get something cheapo to eat. Walk in, I order, and there's not many people there. Just a couple people before me. And I go sit in the corner by myself, plug my phone in because the battery's real low right now. And I turn it down real low, get on YouTube, and this guy is like 3 tables away, and I recognize him because he used to come to the restaurant that I managed. It was down the street from the restaurant he works at as a dish person. He works a fine dining restaurant as a dish person, very expensive place, and uh, he would come by my other job that I had when I was managing. Um, every night he would come by there. He's normally pretty nice, but he wanted us to fill up his cup. He would always try to get somebody like brand new working there and stuff to fill up his cup for free. I never saw him purchase anything ever. He was there religiously every night that I worked because I was pulling doubles over there, working almost every day of the week. And so sometimes he'd get real cranky, and he would want to talk to the GM. I need to talk to GM. Is he here? Thank you for the thumbs up. And it was like, oh, I mean, we're slam packed busy. I'm lucky to even get a break. Hey, hey. And it was always over something dippy. Like, one night it was storming, and he was like freaking out, freaking out. It's really important. I need to talk to him. Da, da. I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm a manager too. He's a GM, but I'm a manager. And he would go, well, there's palm tree leaves, where people trying to drive through, you know. I'm like, okay, that's all you had to say. We'll take care of it. Thank you for letting us know. So I go out there to go pick up palm tree leaves, and the customer jumped out, and stepped up to the plate too, picked like 3 big palm tree leaves up so, cars could drive around in the parking lot. And I told him thank you. And he still needed to talk to the GM, you know. So I let the GM know when he got time. He looked out the window and went, oh, yeah. Looked out the window, and he was like, he'd go out there after a little bit and hand the guy a cigarette, and they would talk for a little bit. And so what he would do is he was always begging. He always came looking for cigarettes, free refill for his drink, whatever. Why he didn't get a refill from his work, I don't know. And because, he apparently was just coming there from his work, which is like 1 or 2 blocks down. And he always have a backpack on his back. Well, found out that he lives on the patio of a big dinner house that recently closed. Yeah. And he leaves all his stuff over there, and then he stays on that patio. And then somebody else told me if he wasn't such a bad meth addict, that's why he's always broke. And they had told me that he worked at this restaurant as dish, which he gets paid pretty good, almost $20 an hour. And so anyway, he's usually pretty nice to me. He would come by every single night and always ask me for free stuff. I wouldn't give it to him. And they have us on video in those restaurants and stuff. I'm not losing my job over some dude that works a job and makes good money, and apparently he's not spending his money wisely. That he's buying meth instead of buying his food, cigarettes, whatever, or buying a small storage unit to put his stuff in. Um, you know, he's investing it in drugs, and that doesn't feed you, man. There's it's time to kick the habit. Come to reality. But anyway, so I'm down the street at this restaurant eating some cheapo food, mind my own business, sitting in the corner, plugged the phone in because it's real low, and playing YouTube real low. Some people got up from their table, they had left. Then it was just me, and then dude was like 3 or 4 tables from me to the left, and he was sitting there with a styrofoam cup, okay, a big giant styrofoam cup, which tells me he was, you know, getting a free drink refill in his cup. Sitting there using the Wi Fi, playing something, anime or something, full blast. And I'm talking full blast. And sitting there watching that, and it's like, dude, I didn't see any like paper bags, food on its plates, nothing sitting on his table. That's telling me that he has not made a purchase. I know he's homeless. Now, if you're homeless, you should respect the restaurant. I watched a homeless lady get thrown out of a restaurant. They used to let her come there every day to stay out of the cold. And then one day she cussed 2 kids that were bopping around that were the children of one of the workers there. And yeah, the kids were pretty wild, but she jumped all over those kids and were cussing them. And that was like the exact wrong thing to do because everybody blew a head gasket and they threw her out. Now she has no place to go, you know. And so, if they're most restaurants are not going to let you just sit in their place and not buy anything and just hang out, make your own refill, and that kind of thing. So, you should be polite and decent, lay low, don't bother people, you know. This guy was way off in his own world, obviously. But anyway, so he turns to me and he says, "Will you give me $1 so I can buy a taco while I'm eating my food, okay? While I'm chewing." And I just looked at him like, first of all, I don't have $1 to give anybody. I'm on borrowed money right now. You know? I get one thing to eat a day. Sometimes I don't get any. I had to watch my pennies, So, I've been out of work since I got out of the hospital. So, anyway, I just got another job and I'm waiting on a schedule. So, I'm on borrowed money. And I think I'm catching a cold. It's been cold last couple nights. So, I was like really offended. And I told him nicely, I said, "So you're asking me for $1 so you could buy a taco, but you're here in a restaurant, you bought nothing. You brought your own cup, you're using their Wi-Fi, playing it full blast, and I'm sitting here minding my own business, eating my food, and you ask me for $1 to buy a taco?" I mean, that just blew me away. He got so pissed off, starts yelling at me, rah, 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 rah. And then he decides to leave. So then he's going to stand out front of the restaurant and play on his phone, whatever. So I go up and I tell one of the workers there real nicely. I said, "Look, this guy was over there. I kind of know who he is, where he works and stuff, but, I just want to let you know that he was asking me for money while I was sitting there eating in your establishment. And the girl says to me, "Oh, that's my friend." And I don't want to hear it. "He's my friend." And turned around and looked the other way, talking to some girl that had come in there, wasn't buying any food either. That was an employee from next door place. And I was like, dude, really? I just was like totally blown away. You don't let people bother your customers. I'm a paying customer. There's no reason that should have happened. And that should be addressed. You know what I mean? But no, defend the guy that's not doing any business at all, you know, over a paying customer. That's beyond me. You know, one of my kids worked at a gas station that had all kinds of stuff, had food and hot food and all kinds of stuff. And uh God, somebody turned the music on. Christ. Why you get the stereo playing full blast and you freaking get out of your car to go in a restaurant. So anyway, uh my kid would tell me, "Man, you can't believe those homeless people. They sit, out front, and they come in with a wad of money. And you know what they do with it? They buy lottery tickets, lottery scratch-offs. And they buy beer. They buy cigarettes, you know, and then they don't ever buy any food." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And it was like, yeah, they just spend all that money on just like drinking and lottery tickets. Now I've known two different people that panhandle and make anywhere from 200 to 500 a day begging for people. You know that kind that stands in the middle of the street with a cardboard sign that says "I'm a vet" and they're not a vet, or they have somebody's dog with them. Uh, if you look at their tennis shoes, that's kind of your first clue. My friends from BB's Adventures, her husband would say, "Yeah, I look at their tennis shoes. That tells me right off the top, if they're really homeless or whatever, or really desperate." And uh, yeah, and then you can look at their bicycles. Now, there's some churches that'll give you a free bicycle one time a year around here, and trust me, it's nothing real racing. Okay, it's not a brand new bicycle; it's rebuilt stuff because they get a bunch of stuff donated, and there'll be a guy that sits there puts them all together and stuff. So they're never really nice. A lot of these people look at their bicycle, and when they've got like a $200 or $300 bicycle, that's your next clue. Um, yeah, it is hard to believe. Or the one that takes their leg and tucks it up under them and comes in a wheelchair, acting like they have only one leg. That's the next one. There's two around here that do that, and I mean, it's just pitiful. It is pitiful. They make huge money. Huh. You know, huge money. Don't know how they sleep at night, man. It's pitiful. You know, people bring them stacks of food. I've seen them in Pensacola when we go down to DoorDash in Pensacola and that. And you couldn't believe these people would be standing in the middle of the intersection and they would have bags and bags of food people would hand them. Or in a parking lot next to a grocery store. Bags and bags stacked up of food, you know, with it, from the restaurants, hot food. And you know what? They'll never eat it. And in Florida, you can't set food on the ground because the fire ants will be right in it. It's just like you don't walk through grass in Florida because there's fire ants in it. you know? Yeah. So, I don't know. But it's horrible. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Got to get off the drugs, man. That's not living. That is not living. Anyway, you guys have a nice evening. Do something kind for a stranger. Love everybody. And I'll see you in the next one.